How much do you have to hate to do something to turn down millions of dollars and legacy-altering offers? Well, for Eminem, it's something he's basically been doing for over 2 decades. Although he's best known as a commercial phenomenon and a top-tier MC that some even appoint as the greatest of all time, there was a brief moment in the early 2000s where he had a budding Hollywood career. Because after his first starring role proved that he had huge range in that realm and was a box office draw, everyone wanted to put him on the silver screen. But unfortunately, the experience of making one semi-autobiographical film proved to be so painful that he has never returned to it ever since. It's your boy Louaista, and this is why Eminem regretted making 8 Mile. By the turn of the decade, Eminem was already an established icon in hip-hop, an unlikely star who was catapulted to greatness after he linked up with Dr. Dre and Interscope. M really needs no introduction at this point. After all, he is the most popular and highest selling artist of all time in any genre, let alone just rap. Throughout his entire life, M had been fixated on making it as an MC. However, once he became a mainstream star, other opportunities soon opened up for him, namely in the field of entertainment and acting. Before 8 Mile, M was a total novice to that world. He had previous experience playing Chris alongside Dr. Dre and Snoop in The Wash, stepping into the shoes of a maniacal character which was similar to the Slim Shady persona of the time in a lot of ways. Then, you had his brief spell of part of an animated TV series entitled The Slim Shady Show, which was an edgy cartoon that began as a web series before later being rebroadcasted on Fox. But taking on the movie was a whole new step. Conceived by renowned director and screenwriter Curtis Hanson, this Oscar-nominated film legend initially had a very particular vision for the project. It was an invitation into a world that I found really interesting. It was a world in which many of the things that I think about a lot in general could be dealt with thematically, he told The Guardian. Namely, people trying to figure out where they're going with their lives. With 8 Mile, I was also interested in art, and the way in which art enables both the fans of art and the artists themselves to transcend their circumstances. And then you put all that in the world from which hip-hop emerged. It was not about Eminem being in it. In fact, Eminem being in it was potentially a liability from my point of view. Rather than insulting him, I think this was a great comfort to him. What he expressed to me very clearly, almost in these words in fact, was that he had no interest in being in an Eminem movie. He didn't want to be in a movie that was a vanity project, something that was essentially a 2-hour extended video. He wanted to play a part in a really good movie. He was a big fan of LA Confidential, and oddly enough, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. We spent a lot of time together, and we then made a somewhat educated leap of faith. But over time, he realized that M was right for the part and could tap into a more vulnerable side of himself, declaring to Rolling Stone that, "I knew going into it that he had experience performing and also adopting a character, Slim Shady. What I was looking for was actually the opposite of that. When you adopt a characterization, that's artificial. You hide behind that. What I needed in the story was the appearance of a complete lack of artifice. I needed the appearance of one more or less exposing himself emotionally. And so, in getting to know him, I had to assess and then make an educated guess of whether he would be able to do that, and whether he would trust me, and the environment I would create enough to do that. But even once Curtis had decided he was the man for the role, the process took a whole lot to get going due to his schedule.
First, when the idea was brought to me, I couldn't give it like 100% concentration. I was doing so much other shit, like the Marshall Mathers LP. I was recording that, and it was in the process of that, and then touring and doing the D12 record. And I couldn't, once I gave it my full concentration and I knew that I could give it 100%, then that's when I decided, that's when I jumped into it and was like, okay, I'm gonna do it.
Before making it onto the set, M prepared by dropping 15 pounds and dyeing his hair brown. But he also had to humble himself and venture back to a time where he wasn't a megastar as well.
I had to go back, like I said, I had to strip myself of ego and everything and go back and put myself in that position where I was reserved and I was shy. Had it in me, but wasn't quite sure how to bring it out yet in a positive way, I guess, and show people.
Soon, the rest of the casting came together, with Mekhi Phifer, who portrayed the character Future, almost turned down the role due to getting a role in ER before meeting Shady.
I met with Eminem. We spent a few days together and chopped it up.
What was that like?
It was great, man. It was great. We hit it off, immediately. I saw how serious he was. The script was, they didn't give me the script. I had to read the script in Curtis's office because they were being so hush-hush about it.
Huh.
I loved it, but it wasn't what you see on screen. But I knew I could bring a nuance to it, and something different, a certain energy, a certain spirit.
But while everything was in place, what should have been a way for M to enter a new medium that he might have loved as much as rhyming proved to be anything but easy. In fact, it would set a chain of events in motion which threatened to ruin his life. Although shooting for the movie began in his native Detroit, interviews and behind-the-scenes clips made it clear that M struggled on set.
It was like being a hamster and you're just going from one cage, one wheel to the next. It was a music trailer, and it was the trailer where I got to learn the lines, learning the scenes and writing and trying to record, and then in between takes, like writing on my hand because I didn't have a piece of paper at the time. Like I said, it was fun, but it wasn't. It was intense.
And for Shady, it was a whole different way of trying to work. In footage taken from the set, Shady can be seen fitting between looking disengaged with the process and then ensuring director Curtis Hansen's decisions were accurate to hip-hop culture.
So we'll just sort of see how it feels right now. I like that. Yeah. In other words, we don't want this to be a fight.
Right. Okay. Because we go in the club, and if
right across
teams don't fight, crews don't fight, one get in the fight outside and go in the club and just hang out and meet mug each other. That doesn't happen.
Okay. All right. So let's walk. Okay. His or my, these are raps in a row. Like this. Should we be singing?
Yes, that's what we were just talking about. I think it's good because this is like I'm not the rapper.
Yeah, you're not a rapper.
No.
I think that's a good idea.
This is like my rap, and so when I bust it out, when everybody figures out what it is, it's like, oh, go.
We'll just that's all they say the last word.
And then at the end, when it's what up, though, everybody's gonna be like, what up, though?
And wherever possible, he was working on music in between takes, writing both the Eminem show and the soundtrack on set. Despite his struggles with the process, it was ultimately a productive time where he composed his hit song Lose Yourself, surprising Mekhi Phifer with the famed shout out on set.
Shooting one day, Eminem had 3 trailers. He had his trailer for, him to sleep and stuff like that. Then he had a studio trailer that because he was doing his album and the soundtrack at the same time. And he had a gym trailer. So we would go in between takes and work out or whatever. And around 2 a.m, we were shooting one night, and he came back to the set. He said, "Yo, Makai, after this take, I want to take you to the studio. I'll put your name in the song." The whole crew, we all went to the to the trailer, and he played the song, and it was raw. It wasn't mastered. It wasn't mixed yet. And we got to the part, and there's no movie. There's no Mekhi Phifer, and everybody erupted. And but I didn't know it was gonna be. Listen, I didn't know 8 Mile was gonna be 8 Mile. Sure. You never know, and I didn't know the song was gonna, be as impactful.
But among all the difficulties he faced, one of the more surprising ones is that he discovered his fear of horses. In his 2008 autobiography, The Way I Am, he revealed that in a deleted scene, he had to encounter one of the animals and he didn't like it one bit. There was some weird shit in 8 Mile too. I fought tooth and nail and won to get this scene with the horse out of the movie because it made no sense whatsoever. Jimmy gets in a fight with his mother and takes his little sister next door to the babysitter, and then he sits down and starts crying, just thinking about his life and how f***ed up everything is. But then he turns around and sees a horse, as in one of those horses that the cops ride through the city and shit. He sees his horse in the junkyard and he doesn't know why it's there. He walks up and starts petting it. Curtis kept telling me to grab the reins and pet it, but the horse was doing this crazy head jerking movement, and I thought any minute this going to lift his head up and bust my jaw and knock me the f*** out. Horses and me, we don't get on too well. I wouldn't f*** with a horse. If a horse dissed me, I wouldn't say anything back. But as stressful as this was, it was still surpassed by how much M clearly hated all the stop-start nature of the filming process.
Once he gets off and goes down into the crowd, then you're more talking to each other. Wasn't that something that was good? You're smiling at him as he goes by, you look at him as he goes by, but you're not all still cheering. Okay? So let's do it one more time. But it actually looked very good.
It hurts, someone else's schedule and somebody else's time, and but it was gruesome, man. It was like, acting boot camp. It was tough. Like 5 a.m. till 7, 8 at night. Get back up, literally have enough time to go to sleep and come right back. I couldn't help but be this character in the movie.
However, it certainly wasn't all that bad. For one thing, he found some joy in welcoming his co-star Anthony Mackie to the harsh reality of battle rap. In the lead up to their famous climactic scene, Shady decided to blur the lines between the origins of his character Papa Doc and actor Anthony Mackie's real upbringing. And to say that it took the actor, who'd go on to become an MCU star, aback is an understatement.
Eminem is just such a brilliant dude. We're on set one day, and he's like, yo, it don't make sense that we beefing. I was like, right? He was like, I need something like on you. So we're talking. We talked for like 2 hours, like chilling. I go to the casino. The next day we're shooting a battle scene. And that's why I'm standing there like, you're talking about me. You're not talking about Clarence. That has nothing to do with the character. You're an asshole, Eminem. I'm like, I won't fight this motherfucker. I'm like, yes, my parents are still married.
This wasn't the only moment away from the monotony of shooting. To keep his morale high with the rest of the cast, he battled extras in order to keep them entertained that was planned to be used in a montage scene that never made the movie. Initially, he was instructed by the director to mimic battling and rest his vocal cords for more important scenes. But when the crowd started jeering at him, he fired back.
Hold on, faggot. Let me turn this mic on. Don't think for a minute I'm gonna let you get away with that song. Cause that shit was whack. You ain't spitting. As a matter of fact, all of that shit was written. And I know it wasn't for me. Surely, you really must adore me. Now look it. Yo, you might as well move to Italy. Look, this guy's ripped. Literally.
He even took great pleasure in cooking a girl that choked.
Like I said earlier in the clause, I stated that in my... Oh, shit.
That was all right, Bob. We got love, Bob. Whoa. Well, you know, we can't control that.
I can see that I'm put to the test, battling this chick with no breasts. Why I gotta battle a chick, especially one that's whack with a dick?
After a grueling schedule, the film finally wrapped up, and it was slated for release in November of 2002. At that stage, Eminem was excited but ultimately nervous.
Completely mortified when I seen the first trailer. It took me a minute to get over like seeing myself on the big screen. I'm used to seeing myself on videos, and that's cool. There's music behind me, backing me up. But to see myself on the big screen was a little weird at first, but I'm over it now, and I'm cool.
And in the end, the movie was a massive success, ultimately earning him an Oscar for Best Original Song and making hundreds of millions at the box office. Above all else, what should have been encouraging is that M received a whole lot of critical praise for his debut performance.
There is a kind of raw magic to this guy Eminem. He's a foul-mouthed and funny blue-eyed devil, and Hansen wisely taps into that energy in numerous rap sequences and fight scenes. 8 Mile probably won't win converts to rap, but it should thrill Eminem fans, so thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me, too. You know, Eminem has a way of diffusing obvious criticism against him. He does that in his new album, and he does it here, where he goes up before an all-black audience and kind of puts himself down in a way that wins in these hip-hop contests that are kind of like poetry slams for rap.
Yeah, they're just diss contests. It's like Bring It On, where you got cheerleaders going against each other, except for they're rapper guys. It's kind of interesting, too, that in this universe, if you've got two parents and you come from a middle-class family, everybody makes fun of you because then you're not legit.
But rather than steer into that world, M has pretty much run from it ever since. In the original promo cycle, M seemed pretty optimistic and claimed more film roles might be on the way.
Eminem, would you like to make any more films? And if so, what kind of projects are you interested in?
I'd like to make out with you. Wait, what was her question? Eminem, what? I'd like to do a porno with you, yes. Okay, I would like to make some more films. No, I wouldn't like to make a film where I'd be in every scene, but yes, I would like to make another film, maybe a comedy or something like that. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, I still would like to make out with you.
But he reiterated time and time again that he wouldn't be taking a starring role.
I may. I don't think I'm gonna do another hip-hop movie, and I don't think I'm gonna do another movie where I'm in every scene. You know, if I do another hip-hop movie, I don't want it to be exploiting me as a rapper and just being used for that. I want to be recognized for my acting skills or whatever, if I have any, you know. So yeah, I may do it, but not that grueling of a schedule.
At first, it appeared that the grueling nature of it was what kept him from wanting to commit himself like that again. But in reality, there was a darker side to it that only came to light years later. Although M had experimented with substances in the past, he admitted that the grueling schedule he was stuck in made his drug addiction spiral even further. It probably started to become a problem around the 8 Mile movie. He informed Rolling Stone in 2011, "We were doing 16 hours on the set, and you had a certain window where you had to sleep. One day, someone came in and gave me an Ambien, and it knocked me the fuck out. I was like, I need this all the time, so I got a prescription. After 4 or 5 months, your tolerance starts building. You start breaking off another piece of the pill that's supposed to be for tomorrow. Then, when I got off probation for my felonies in 2003, and I didn't have to drop urine anymore, the reins came off. On the Anger Management 3 tour in 2005, I was fucked up every night." This, in a nutshell, is what led to his notable battles with prescription pills, which almost claimed his life several times. And when it comes to his refusal to return to acting, it seems that it took a toll in a way that he couldn't afford to risk again. His addiction started on the set of 8 Mile, so because of that, you can't really blame him for not wanting to do movies. Being on the set of 8 Mile set a chain of events in motion. Considering the impact that stepping into that schedule had on him, it's no surprise that M has generally kept his acting to cameos ever since. There's been a wide array of them, including his appearance in Entourage, punching Vince in the finale of season 7.
What are you too mainstream now to fight your own fights, Marshall?
What's wrong with you, man?
Elsewhere, he flexed his comedic chops in Funny People, a star-studded film where he played himself. He was a fantastic actor, and the best moments ever in my career were pitching him new jokes to say and making him laugh really hard. He came early and was well prepared, said director Judd Apatow of working with Eminem. "I think he felt like, I'm entering a world of comedy here. I gotta be on my game." He was really funny, willing to say anything. I thought if I pitched him certain jokes, he'd say, "No, that's too far." Apparently, you can't shock Eminem with anything you have to say. To make him laugh super hard was really fun, and he's great in the movie. I'm glad that his scene kills, and so it's really exciting. By the looks of it, this was a far less strenuous experience, and he was clearly having fun with Adam Sandler, even cracking a rare smile in the bloopers.
Sound like a fucking basket case here. I just gotta watch my back. I mean,
I can't let my guard down and get topped by Ray Romano.
I can't let my guard down and get... Sorry. I can't let my guard down, man, and get popped by Ray Romano.
Ray Romano's not shooting anybody.
Can we do that one more time? Sorry. What am I, a zoo animal? Does that make you happy to stare at me? Damn it! Whatever, man. If you say it's cool, then it's cool. And you stop eyeballing me, buddy.
Then, there was his legendary turn in The Interview, the controversial James Franco and Seth Rogen filmed based around the plot to kill the leader of North Korea. But M wasn't involved in that. Instead, he was the guest on the film's fictional talk show where he came out as gay. Seriously.
I am a homosexual.
Meaning?
I like men.
Aside from that, it has taken something special to get him back on a set. Sometimes, it's just a favor for a friend, like when he portrayed white boy Rick in 50 Cent's BMF. According to his protege, it took a lot of effort, with the issue of 8 Mile still lingering above the whole process for him, and prompting him to turn down big opportunities in favor of investing more time into music.
I persuaded him to come.
He did. What'd you say? Because he does almost nothing.
I actually directed the episode that he's in.
Wow.
I called him, I put pressure on him, Jimmy.
Because he did 8 Mile, and it was a huge hit, and he was great in it, and he's like, okay, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah, I was like, I think he had a terrible experience on the 8 Mile project. There was periods that Hollywood would offer me things to get him. Like his agent would go, yeah, this is good, give it to 50, and then he'll let 50 take it. Projects, they offered him $8 million to do it, he'll look at it and go, I just think we should do like Warriors. I'm like, but did you just miss the $8 million? I'm looking like it doesn't move him at all. He's like, let's just go record records.
But M churning his film roles down is nothing new. In fact, there are some that you probably don't know about. Reportedly, M was offered the chance to portray the role of Brian O'Connor in Fast and Furious before Paul Walker stepped into the iconic driver's seat. Similarly, he was offered the part in Training Day, which Dr. Dre actually has a role in instead. One scenario which he reportedly got close to starring in was Elysium, a sci-fi film led by Matt Damon, in which director Neil Blomkamp had originally envisioned M taking the lead in. But in the end, he turned it down after his request to have the movie filmed in Detroit was denied. After he turned it down, its eventual star Matt Damon had nothing but praise for his acting abilities.
Do you think Eminem could have pulled this role off?
Yeah, he would have been great. He would have been great. It would have been different, you know? I mean, it just would totally change the movie, you know? I mean, you know, it would have been, you know, I mean, 8 Mile, I thought he did a wonderful job in that.
Away from sci-hi and into sport, producers initially wanted M to play the role of boxer Mickey Ward in The Fighter, before Mark Wahlberg took his role.
So many rewrites later, we started getting some director traction. Now, Brad Weston, who is a formidable producer and studio executive and kind of also a legend in the business, was at Paramount at the time and just a giant fan of the movie. The first person that we thought would star in this film was Eminem.
Stop it.
Eminem was going to be Mickey Ward.
Oh my God, I love it. These are the details where you're like, what? But that was just a moment in time, right? Where
that was a moment in
Eminem,
time where he had come off of 8 Mile and he was, you know, interested in making movies and he wanted to do a boxing movie. And so that was something we pursued for a minute. And there was real life in that for a minute.
And this wasn't the only time that directors wanted him to step into the ring, as it happened once more with Southpaw. Producers Peter and Alan Rich said, "We had both seen 8 Mile and loved it and thought he was really interesting and had a real presence on screen. We were told that he really loved it, but that he feels he's a musician first and an actor second, and he had a lot of inner energy going on for his next album, and that's where his muse was taking him." Similarly, 50 thought he could have been the star, but the physical demand might be a lot to take.
Everyone knows Eminem was a part of the project.
Right.
Do you know if he's seen the movie
He
and
did.
what he like? Did he like it?
It was like the first thing, literally, what he said to me on the telephone. Exactly, he said, "Jake, man," because he didn't see him, you know, like that physically, anything, and he worked hard, man. The discipline that he put into developing the characters is obvious. Like, you can't miss it. It's not gonna go, you know, unseen or heard. I think people appreciate it because it would have been a different film. Let's just say this. Like, I'm not sure, like, because you know how if you have a project for a long time, because it was with it from the development process, when you see it at the end of it, you go, "Oh, it's good. Like, we were right. It was that good." But you start saying, what did he have to do to get physically like that for it?
Yeah.
And then you go, "So I would have had to do." Nah, I'm okay. I'm cool. I passed on this one.
Yeah, it was intense.
Instead, he decided to come aboard as a producer and wrote the soundtrack, explaining why he made this call in an interview with Zane Lowe.
Seeing how Jake Gyllenhaal just smashed it, like, you know, it just made sense that we still wanted to have something to do with the project. So, you know, we circled back around and we're like, what if we did music for it? For me, I have fun doing little cameos too, you know, in movies.
Yeah,
like,
in the interview I saw that.
Yeah, that is fun to me because it's not, you know, when you're doing a movie like that, you've got to commit. And I don't have trouble necessarily committing to things, but it has to be something I gotta be super passionate about. But it has to be something that I have to realize, okay, I can't do my first passion. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is everything to me. This is where everything stems from. This is what it's about to me. It has to be something that I have to be able to, it has to be strong enough to make me to get my interest. And not saying that Southpaw wasn't.
Yeah, because you were thinking about it at one point.
For sure. It just what happened with that was the timing was so bad.
Aside from Southpaw, he also received producer credits on Bodied, a film he produced about a nerdy journalist who becomes a battle rapper, which was released on YouTube Red. But for the most part, he has kept his focus solely on hip-hop, or at least that was the case until 50 came knocking again, as apparently they are now working on an 8 Mile TV show.
I'm gonna bring his 8 Mile to television.
Oh. Does he know that?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
How far along in the process are you guys of that?
We're emotional.
Really? So 8 Mile, the TV show.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's gonna be big. I'm working. I'm not gonna keep. You know, I ain't got no duds.
Right, I know.
I'm batting 100.
8 Mile, whose idea is that? Like, do you have to convince M? Because 8 Mile is a classic.
No, I think it should be there for its legacy. Because if you don't see, it's important to me that they understand it. You know what I mean? Like Stout would say the tannin of America because America's listening to black music, right? And it's really the culture losing its color for everybody to feel like they can enjoy it and appreciate it. Because they see someone who's accepted and respected on the whole, it makes them a part of it also.
As he returned to Big Boy's neighborhood in 2024, 50 later revealed that they're cutting through the red tape and trying to get it workable for a man like M, who no longer has to compromise on anything.
Are you still doing the Eminem movie?
Yeah, well, we're working on the television.
Oh yeah, the television. How's that coming along?
It's going pretty good. Like we get difficult at points because they're so used to having the entire control of projects. Like M's system is a real system, bro. So like when you gotta deal with the networks and other forces involved, it get a little.
Right.
While there's been no official confirmation, according to IMBD, it's officially in pre-production. Meanwhile, it also seems like he's reuniting with his old pal Adam Sandler, as the legendary comedy actor has revealed that he has a cameo in the upcoming Happy Gilmore 2.
But can I talk about some of the cameos?
I don't know if they're gonna yell at me no matter what because they asked me not to do any press. But what? Yeah, like, what do you want to say? What do you say it, and I'll tell you if it's good or bad to talk about.
Like, can I talk about Eminem having a cameo?
Okay, yes, you can. You know, Eminem was cool. He came by and he was great.
Okay, wait a minute. How do you reach out to Eminem and what role does he play in Happy Gilmore 2?
I can't tell you all that.
Okay.
I know Eminem for a long time, and he's a great guy, and he came in, was funny as hell, and was I think we just hung out a day with Eminem, and he just shot and was insane. Said a million things we can use and a million things that we're glad we have him on tape.
Despite everything that happened, M clearly still has some kind of fondness for 8 Mile. For one thing, he paid tribute to director Curtis Hanson upon his death, claiming, "Curtis Hanson believed in me and our crazy idea to make a rap battle movie set in Detroit. He basically made me into an actor for 8 Mile. I'm lucky I got to know him." Likewise, he's still friends with Anthony Mackie to this day.
He calls you on the phone. Tell me what happens. What does he say?
He goes, "Yo, Mackie, what's up?" I'm like, "Yo, what up, Em?" Like, chilling.
And then what?
And then what? What do you
then
I'm
what?
like, how's Detroit, man? He's like, cold. I'm like, I might come up for a baseball game. He's like, no doubt. Oh.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
That's
great.
it.
That's pretty much it.
All right, that's
It was
the
a
way I
good
talk-
conversation. I mean, we catch up on everything.
That's the way we talk to Kelvin.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Although M's initial experience in the leading role was so damaging to his life that he couldn't do it again, it's hard to imagine that Shady has many regrets about not delving deeper into the acting world. While he could have made a real splash in Hollywood, his first and only love has always been hip-hop. And by focusing his energy on that art form, he has compiled a legacy that is undeniable. Still, it would have been pretty cool to see him drag racing against Vin Diesel, right?